So these are the types of things we do. MergeSeries is what we're gonna, after this meeting, we're gonna do, and Bryce is gonna lead that. We do seminars. So the last seminar we had 3 med students come and talk about nutrition, exercise, and having the right mindset to bring that all together. We just recently did a homeless shelter drive. We do free yoga, meditation. We're planning lots of social events, and there's a lot more. So this was the homeless shelter drive. This was the meditation event that Bryce led. I think you guys were there.
That's me.
Yeah. And this is a talk that one of Bryce's med school friends gave. So if you're passionate about anything and need help expressing it, we can talk about that. You can come to us. We can help you. If you have any ideas for projects you want to start or social events that you want to do, we can help you out with that. And if you're looking for leadership opportunities, we have like board positions available, or if you just want to be like a strong volunteer part of the volunteer team, let us know. And like us on Facebook and join us on OrgSync, so you can get the emails, because I'll be sending out emails about when things are happening. So before we begin, we're going to start with an icebreaker, just so we can get to know everyone. So I'll start, and we can go this way, I guess. My name is Valerie. I'm a senior, and my major is biology and human rights. If I could have an endless supply of any dessert, it would be a tie between ice cream and plain donuts with chocolate glazed on the top.
Just a plain donut with chocolate glaze.
Or like a glazed donut with glazed chocolate on the top.
Ah, now we're talking.
The Krispy Kreme special.
Yes. Krispy Kreme is the best. A unique or quirky habit. I do this thing where I always say your mom jokes or your face jokes, but in like a nice way. So I think I've done it to Paul a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
but-
give us an example?
You don't want her to.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it
one of those,
comes up.
oh, honey. Oh.
Like, oh, your mom has a pretty face?
Yeah, like, and that's nice. So I do stuff like that. And what am I passionate about? Well, I really like connecting with people, and I like singing, and I like learning new things. So, yeah, that's
Okay, I'm Leo Kelly. I'm a freshman here at MergeSeries. My major technically is global studies, biomedical right now. Dessert, definitely endless supply of any dessert. Can it be 2? Because I have 2 big. Okay. Carrot cake is my favorite cake, and then sweet potato pie. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very nice.
I can't think of a unique or quirky habit. That sucks. I can't think of any. I'm passionate about, I do like connecting with people, so like traveling and stuff like that. I really like global studies and global topics and law.
Did you say law?
Law, yeah.
Oh,
My name is Amy Axelrod, and I'll say my last name because Axelrod. I'm a freshman. I'm an art history and museum studies major. If I could have an endless supply of any dessert, it would be probably lemon bars. I love lemon bars. A unique and quirky habit. I have a lot, so it's hard to choose. Not in a good way. I asked Sarah what to say because we're roommates, and she said that I fall asleep a lot. So I'll say that. If I'm watching a TV show, if I'm watching a movie, just like anything.
If she's sitting down and breathing.
Yeah, you give a calm spirit.
Yeah. And then I'm very passionate about art history. Like, I love it more than I love anything. So, yes.
sweet.
My name is Sarah. I'm a freshman, and my major is biomedical sciences, soon to be a double major in nutrition. If I could have an endless supply of any dessert, it would definitely have to be banana bread. A unique or quirky habit of mine. I don't know about like a unique or quirky habit, necessarily, but like a quirk that I have is that I am always, no matter what temperature it is, I'm always too cold. So that's actually kind of unfortunate. But I guess I live in a good place. And then I am passionate about like health and nutrition and yoga.
Awesome. My name is Grant Iflander, and I'm technically a post-bachelorette. I graduated from ESU in May of 2012 with a degree in business administration. And lifestyle events have shaped my current path, and so I'm currently taking some prerequisites to get into medical school, which I'm very excited about. Endless supply of dessert. I had to think hard about this one, and I already knew the answer. I had done ice cream, of course, chocolate peanut butter, best of all time, or salted caramel, very fine line between the two. Like, as you can see, I like this sweet and salty stuff. Peanut butter would be a close second. I could just eat peanut butter straight as dessert. Unique and quirky habit. I'm known as the neighborhood walker / reader because I walk twice a day and I read while I walk in my neighborhood. And people are like,
Is that
"Why should I
hazardous?"
do a book?" Say what?
Is that hazardous?
No, I've made a good habit of it, but it's a very, I enjoy walking and I enjoy reading, so I combine the two. And yeah, people in my neighborhood, they see me and like, look at a book. I'm like, I don't even recognize you. How many times have I passed your house? Have you seen me? But anyways, what am I passionate about and what do I love to do? And there's so many things I'm really truly passionate about. But what I love to do is to love. I love to connect with people. I love to be a part of what inspires them. I love to share my experiences in a way that can benefit others. And I love to just be a part of that loving experience with other people, because I think that is what ultimately we're here to do, is to love and be loved as creatures. And that's what I love. Among other things, I'm passionate about yoga, nutrition, cooking, guitar, music, writing, reading. Reading articles, stuff like this. Food, love food. I can talk about food for days and everything that goes into food. And know quite a bit about nutrition and the microbiome specifically, and how humans have evolved with the microbiomes and the environment and all that stuff. So I'm pretty passionate about that sort of thing. But ultimately, I love to love. So that's me.
Awesome. So my name is Rostam Mahabadi. I don't know what year I am. I think it's like a sophomore and a half. But so my major is nutrition. If I could have an endless supply of any dessert. Have you guys heard of jackfruit?
Yes.
Yes.
Jackfruit is amazing. So that would have to be my favorite dessert.
Is that good? I gotta get it. Yeah. You can get it at
Asian market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or durian. Try durian too.
So amazing.
On point. So a quirky habit. I don't really have any.
No, you're good.
What about like a talent? Would that be easier to?
A talent? I can ice skate. I skated for 7 years.
Nice.
Yeah. What am I passionate about? Helping people, caring about people, making them healthier, showing them a healthier lifestyle and different way to live. So, that's me.
Nice.
I'm Paul. I'm a senior plus, I guess, sociology major. Dessert. Not really a huge dessert fan, but I can knock back some Starbucks. Does that count?
It's a dessert drink.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. It's so cold out. Quirky habits, don't really have one. Unless, I like being sarcastic. But, yeah. But in a playful way, not like I'm trying to be mean to people, just play like a cat. Passionate about, kind of like what these guys are saying. I love serving others and trying to lead them to be the person they could be by using my experiences, show them what I did wrong so they don't make the same mistakes. I love helping other people realize their potential.
Awesome. Hi. I'm Bryce. I actually don't go to ASU. I go to Southwest Medical School, and I'm studying to become a doctor. Definitely the coconut ice cream, but not the coconut ice cream you get at the store. It's like the kind that you get if you go to another country, like real coconut ice cream. Yeah, that is the best thing in the world. I don't have any. What kind of quirky habits do I have? Yeah, I'm like basically quirky all the time, and I'm habitually me. So I love skiing. I love being outside in nature. I like to camp a lot. Okay. Those are those things. I'm passionate about nature, people. I'm almost passionate about everything. You're on GoPro!
Hi everyone, my name is Netta. I am a grad student here at ASU. I am in the School of Sustainability. If I could have an endless supply of dessert, I really like Trader Joe's coffee ice cream. It's phenomenal. I do not eat often though. A quirky habit, I like to make myself sneeze. So I twist toilet paper like into a little thing and make myself sneeze. What am I passionate about? Trying to live and love and grow and do all of these things.
Alright. I came just in time. Hi everyone, I'm Jamil. I'm in my second year of med school right now. If I'd have to have an endless supply of dessert, I've been on a health kick for a while, so it'd probably be some kind of endless supply of bananas or dates or something like that. Quirky habit. I have an ability where if you get me laughing, I'll have the whole room laughing because of the way I look. And I'm passionate about helping people.
There we go. I'm Michael. Endless supply of desserts. So I really love fruit. I love watermelon and kiwis. Oh my god, I love kiwi. I haven't had a kiwi in a long time though, but if we're going to go into like, all right, if fruit isn't considered a dessert, then it would be definitely cookies and cream ice cream. I love cookies and cream.
What brand?
Brand?
You got a brand? She said Trader Joe's. That's specific.
That's true. Okay. I'm gonna go with the healthy brand St. Minnows. So yeah. Well, I guess it's not really an ice
That's
cream.
not
Right?
ice cream.
It's just the cookies and cream.
Okay.
Cookie.
Oh,
The cookie and cream. Got it. Unique or quirky habit of mine. I don't know. Passionate about it. What do you love to do? I really love loving people. I really love loving life and receiving love and just like exchanging different forms of love. Yeah.
That's real.
awesome.
What's up, guys? I'm Gage. If I could have an endless supply of any dessert, it would probably be salted caramel Talenti ice cream with candied pecans.
Talenti's a good one.
Grant got you ready, bro.
Yep. And unique or quirky habit of mine would probably be the fact that I just make random sounds or onomatopoeias throughout the day at all times. And I'm passionate about life and everything beyond it. And what I like to do as far as exchanging any form of love.
Yeah, it's already on. We just have to drag it. What's that? Oh, thank you. Hey, boy.
What's up, man?
All right. Can you roll up this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna shut the door just for. Wanna come in?
We're parked at Type A right now.
Okay. So, control and creation. Two things that are related in some way. First, I want to ask you guys a couple questions. And these are not questions to be answered, they're just questions to listen to actively. That's fine for some reason. Okay. So, who here wants to just meet? And who here wants to connect? Who here wants to be heard? And who here wants to listen? Are you seeking attention? Or are you paying attention? Is your attention for that which aligns with an agenda? Or do you pay attention to every heart in the room? Are you seeking for truth and knowledge? Or do you seek experience and uncertainty? And can you accept uncertainty? Those are just questions to have in the back of your head as we go into this. So MergeSeries is an interactive thing. That means that it's not a talk, more it's an experience, an exchange. It's a co-creation. And that's one of the things is creation. So as we're going through this, like we're going to have different flows and dynamics, but you guys are going to be the ones that determine how those go about. So let's just start off with what is control? Does anyone have anything they'd like to share about what control is to them? I'll just write up on the board. My beautiful handwriting. No big words. Control.
Being able to determine the favor of something.
Being able to choose. Choice before reaction.
Self-discipline.
Okay. All these are positive.
One way to reach our destination.
Okay.
Restriction.
Non-reactive.
So non-reactive. What's that?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else? These are really good.
Unchanging.
What's that?
Unchanging.
Unchanging.
Unhealthy
That's-
relationships.
Yeah.
That's right.
Healthy relationships.
Certainty.
Any others?
Certainty.
Uncertainty?
So he's saying certain.
Certainty. Certainty. I like that.
Power.
Like a yin and yang of control. I'll just move the circle around. Anything else? I'm saying that it started off really positive, but now we're getting more negative stuff too.
The shadow side of it.
Yeah. Is control a good thing for most of you guys, or when you're having control in your life, is it sometimes not a good thing? Like, by good, for your perspective, do you like when you have control, or do you like when you're being controlled? Do you like feeling control in your life? What does that resonate with?
Disappointment.
Disappointment.
Irritation.
So, what does it feel like to have an agenda when you go? Like, if I have an agenda tonight, obviously, you know, like, so, but does agendas always a good thing? Like, my agenda is to have a talk with you guys. Is there negative aspects to my agenda? Could we potentially be missing out on something because of this agenda of mine?
Yes.
Yeah, if you come into any situation with this is what I'm going to get out of it, and this is how it's going to be, you tend to shut yourself off, kind of put the blinders on, so you become unaware of everything around you, so you might miss out on it if you just came into it thinking, I'm open to whatever happens.
Right. So, is there a form of control that's healthy and a form of control that's unhealthy? Does anyone, let's, as a group, try to come to the foundation of control, if we could. Like, what are the common aspects of it, and how does it become negative? How does it become positive in its influence on us?
I think self-control is the most important, and then anything beyond that is when it starts to become negative. So if you have self-control, then no matter what event or situation you're in, you can turn it into the best. But as soon as you try to control outside variables such as other people, which inevitably does not work, that's when you set yourself up for misfortune.
Could I say that, just to say it simply, could I say that you can control what's inside but not what's outside? How does that sound?
What does that mean to control what's inside? What do you mean by inside?
Well, by inside I mean ourselves.
So does that involve emotions? Of course. So can you control your emotions, or can you just feel?
What do you guys think?
I think you have a choice. You can choose to be happy, which is what you said. Would you agree to disagree?
Yeah, I would agree to disagree.
You would agree?
I'm a very agreeable person.
He said, would you agree or disagree?
If you agree or disagree.
Not
No,
agree to
no,
disagree.
I would disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, I would think that emotions are more like a field that I move through, and I can choose to respond to it differently. So I can feel anger, but how I react to anger that I feel is different. You know, so I can either choose to lash out at somebody, or I can choose to love myself, even despite going through that anger. So that's just how I feel about emotions. So that's why I asked about what goes on inside me. So can I control what goes on inside me? So if emotions are considered to be inside me, I don't think I have control over my emotions necessarily, but I can control how I respond to those emotions in some way. Or I can control how I perceive myself in the face of going through this emotion.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's a tantric answer.
Oh,
Or tantra would say. Tantra's a pretty cool word.
He's just describing being the observer, and the observing all at the same time. Remember, looking into yourself to see that your emotions are not changing, but you're going to be reactive, not in the sense of outside of yourself, but inside of yourself. So that you're controlling things, is that correct?
I didn't.
No, that was really good.
I would really like to understand that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that, I mean, let's get real deep. That you were explaining how, in my eyes, how I originally did the question was, yes, we can completely control our emotions. I mean, we should be happy, we should not understand we can move through them. But then at that point, you're removing yourself and you're observing yourself. So you become the observer as well.
You were not.
As well as, yeah, as well as the observed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you bring yourself outside to be able to be the observer and the observe. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the
Yeah, it's really interesting. That's like what we were going to go about. So you helped us go into that. Have you guys heard of that concept of being the observer being the experiencer, what's being observed, and who's observing. Have you heard that concept before? No. So it's really interesting. There was like a debate back in ancient India between Buddha and this guy named, his name was, off the top of my head, Sri Shankara. That was his name. And the Buddha was at the time, he had a big following, he was the Buddha. And he goes, I go into the nothingness. I go into the void. And there is nothing, there is no God there. When I go into the depths of meditation, there's nothingness. And Sri Shankara goes, okay, now who's observing the emptiness? And so that debate was like one. Well, it was considered a one, but it was different. That was Vedanta at the time, that thought of observing this aspect. So when he said, who's observing it? You're the observer. So even when you're observing your emotions, like happiness and all these things, those are objects that can be observed. You can observe your body, and you can observe your feelings, and you can observe pain, but what's observing them to some degree is not those things. And there can be a degree of dissociation between what you're experiencing and who you actually are. Because a lot of people walk around thinking that they are their thoughts, that they are their experiences, that you are only as good as what you've done, or you are your thoughts. Like if you have some weird thoughts, which anyone who watches the movies today in the media should have some pretty weird thoughts, then that's who you are. But the philosophy is that there's more to you than just what's in your mind space. And I think we talked a little bit about that last time, is that there's a lot of things that can influence our mind. Like the food we eat, the people we hang around, the conversations we're in the moment. If you're around the electromagnetic radiation, that can influence your mind. So, yeah, like, this is a really beautiful point. And I think, can you guys, like, maybe in another way say that, if anyone understands that in a better way? Because that's a very, very important, very beautiful point of what this conversation is about in terms of control. Do you have control? To what degree?
In some level, we become that concept of I, the I-ness, and the fact that, you look in the mirror and you see this physical body and you see that as you, but is that you? Really, it's just a material being that's made up of all the food that you consume throughout your lifetime, plus some DNA from your mother and father. It's not really you. So what is you? Where does that start? And then your thoughts are just vibrations of energy and subtle forms of these things that are entering your mind based on the external environment, because the external environment is what's creating our thoughts. We're metabolizing everything: sight, smells, taste, touches, and those things create thoughts. But who is the one thinking? Who is the observer? Who is the I?
Okay, so who's confused? Who is like totally syncing with this? Okay. All right. No, I'm not. You were beautiful in the way you explain it.
You want to back up way?
No. This is exactly. I think we're exactly where we need to be. It's just, what can you take responsibility for? Can you take responsibility for the observer? Can you take responsibility for the experiencer? Can you take responsibility for the external and the internal world? Like, what do you take responsibility for? What is your control?
You influence all of those. But true control, you have by what is truly, where everything comes from, and that is the divine.
I think it's very hard because
experience inside helps. We are all co-creating what is larger than us, and whatever we do simultaneously has an effect on whatever this thing that is larger than us, which then has an effect on us. So it is this constant, or at least the way I see it, is this constant co-creation. So I think, you know, it is important to take responsibility where responsibility can be had, but there are things that are larger than us, but we are also contributing to the things that are larger than us. So.
I like that a lot. Can I add to that?
Of course.
Do you feel like, so you agree that you have the ability to take responsibility and change, right? But we are all co-creating. I definitely agree with that. I think we can all agree on that to some level. When you take responsibility enough so that there is a significant change, and then others see that and they go on, and it's like a domino effect, that's when the co-creation is radically shifted. You agree? So I think that's what we're doing here. We're all combining our energy towards something bigger, and we're all doing it on an individual level, but in the same token, there's the collective level, and that's where magic happens. Well, magic happens everywhere, of course, but so yeah, for sure.
I think it's kind of like the same way that science says we don't have any control over our autonomic nervous system, like our heart rate and stuff, but we do have control over our breathing, and by that we can control our nervous system. So I think in the same way, we can take responsibility for one thing that we can take responsibility for, and that is being the observer. And the more that we become aware of that, the more we influence everything else indirectly through that. You know?
What would you guys say about, because it's interesting, we're talking about so many layers of existence that we live in, you know, like the observer, the experiencer, the external, you know, all the people in this room versus each one of our individual perspectives. Where would you say you draw the line for yourself, and what would you say is it that encapsulates you in that bubble of who you are?
I think the bubble or the encapsulation of who I am is also a part of who I am. I think it's just a part of it, right? But it's an important part because I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to be a part. But there's this understanding that I'm not just a bubble. That if there was nothing else, that it wouldn't be a bubble. You know? Like a bubble is made up of water molecules, or whatever the detergent is, and air inside, and you know, like stuff. All of those things, and everything around it that the bubble relates to. So, but I like the experience of having the bubble in the midst of having the experience of being everything else too. I don't remember what the question was.
I like it.
By the way, we got fruit and all sorts of snacks. You guys need to pass that. You guys sound so great shape.
Oh, I have spoons, by the way.
And plates.
Alright, so what makes the bubble? How do we get in a bubble, and how do we maintain the bubble so it doesn't pop?
What happens when the bubble pops?
Michael, they were supposed to be small.
I have no idea.
Okay, that's okay. It's fine.
Oh, we got
have
have
it
it
too.
spoon.
I mean, these are just
Plates.
They don't.
You can just do it on my place.
I'm good.
Oh yeah, here we go. I got it.
I can see it with my hands.
It's a beautiful plate.
I don't know. I heard it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's fancy.
Let's just put the peanut butter. Okay, so what puts us in the bubble? How do we stay in the bubble?
As he described, the bubble would be self, right? Us. This physical, what we're experiencing, the experiencer as he described it. experience and food, like I said, every sense really is what it breaks down to. That is what makes up the world. We are metabolizing everything. And what we see or hear or eat or smell, that is what creates it. Obviously with some DNA.
Every thought, emotion, every action that we've had in our entire lifetime has created us currently. And that is the bubble.
I can see the bubble going further than that, though. Like, whenever a big tragedy happens, part of you feels that that's like part of you is dying and somebody's going to hurt somewhere else. So is that your bubble part of them too, and their bubble is your bubble too?
But that's what you described as that's what we would be metabolizing. That is part of our experiencing that we are metabolizing to create us so that it falls in line with what we just described for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So where's the bubble end?
Well, I mean, it's made up of, it's never ends. It's here consistently, constantly growing and expanding, and changing and making different manipulations based on what we metabolize. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I don't like thinking of bubbles as us, physical, close thing. I think it's this widespread global thing.
But I mean, anytime that we're impacted on some level of that, we're still going to metabolize that. So that falls, that's the point. I mean, unless you're speaking of like something beyond that that we don't know about, say globally, for instance, that we don't understand or we're not aware of or anything of that nature, do you still believe that affects us?
I do.
Our bubble, or what makes up the bubble?
I do. I mean, it's kind of like the whole ripple.
I mean, is that
This one little thing will eventually affect you somehow. I believe.
absolutely?
You go back to co-creation.
Right,
It's all
right.
co-creating. When there's widespread misery, it's going to be difficult to be the observer of happiness. I'm not saying it's impossible because we have the responsibility. That's where enlightened beings come. Using quotation marks, but because we're all enlightened beings, but someone comes up, it's like, hey, there may be 1,000 people that are suffering here, but I'm going to choose to look another way. I'm going to choose this different path. And the other cheek, as Jesus Christ would say. And it's not saying you turn the other cheek as in you can strike me here. It's, I'm looking in a different direction. I'm choosing something different. And at that point, he raises his ability to choose, and therefore other people can see that there's something else, there's another option. So whether or not there's co-creation, or there is co-creation, to your point, the bubble is always intersecting infinitely with the bubble. So really it's the bubble. I guess that's
Consciousness?
it's just a term that we can use to describe consciousness. What do you
That we need that consciousness would describe that. That's intersecting layers of both. So what creates collective at that point, collective consciousness.
define consciousness, whether how do you want to explain that? The universe.
Well, it
Doesn't really matter what we're used to.
I think going off what Grant just said, you can look at it as we each have our own bubble, or you can look at it as there's one giant bubble, but most people think they have their own little bubble. That makes sense. And so when you said what keeps you in the bubble, what keeps you in the bubble is your understanding that I am distinct from you, we are not the same. You know, the ego, my body ends right here, we're different. If you believe that, then we each have our own bubble. So if you believe we're all the same, it's one collective consciousness and it's one giant bubble.
So it's like a bathtub.
That's the word.
Bathtub.
Ego. Damn, we got it. I drew a bubble around it. So that's the bubble, and like the ego was yeah, it was like
Expectations. Yes,
I know. I told you guys I had an agenda. I'm trying to control everybody.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just joking. I'm letting this flow wherever it flows. I'm letting it flow wherever it goes. And I was really getting like, yeah. And we're gonna go right back in that conversation. Actually, we're not done with it. It was because we said some things that, like, at least for me, like, was amazing. Like the metabolism, like that. You're getting so much information, right? Because that's what it is. When you're metabolizing, it's all information. Like food, for example, you could say it's just, matter, but what is matter? It's configurized energy. And when something is patterned in a certain way, it gives you information that you can use. DNA is processing information. Everything's about information. So there's a really interesting thing in science, the biology belief by Bruce Lipton. A lot of the people here, I'm sure, have seen it, where it talks about essentially the way cells are going to perceive information will be totally different. Everyone's bubble will perceive the universe around them differently. And that's really beautiful, actually, to think that everyone is really unique and individual in the way we're metabolizing information. But there's a word I would use that is how we're going to perceive it, and that's our beliefs. Because we're getting a lot of information, but ultimately we have to make some judgment so that we can act on things. Beliefs are not a bad thing at all, but that information, the way that we process it, the way we want to interact with it, has to be based on how we perceive it. So you can even say perception is a belief of the external world that is beyond our control, just our senses is processing information. So our beliefs have a lot to do with who we think we are and the bubble we live in. Our beliefs. Okay? So, do you guys think that beliefs are a good or a bad thing? Both. Yeah, so I felt like this group can just move very quickly into things. So beliefs, beliefs is basically tools. So imagine you're in the ocean, right? This is consciousness, okay? And there's cute little fishies that Valerie drew. And there's a surfer that's saying cowabunga. I drew that for Grant.
Where did cowabunga come from, though?
Ninja Turtles. Yeah, Ninja Turtles, yeah. It's for kids.
The real. But that phrase is just.
It doesn't, no, yeah.
It's just a word.
Cowabunga.
So one time someone banged into a cow.
While they're bungee jumping.
While they were bungee jumping.
Okay, so ocean, and it's a metaphor. So the ocean is the universe. It's everything. It's commonly it's from scripture. A lot of people refer to the ocean as everything. I like to think of it as, and this is just the way I perceive it for communication, is that each one of us are a little bubble in the ocean that thinks we're the ocean. We really think that this reality is the universe. What we're perceiving is the ocean, but we're just inside the ocean, floating around. And it's really important that we feel that we have some control. Because can you imagine if you realized you were just a bubble floating around in the ocean? of stuff? It would seem overwhelming. And that's what happens in your life where you have too much stuff for a test, you have too much stress in your life, you have too many things to do, or you feel like someone hit you with a car, or you just don't have any control over the situations you're in. That's not a good feeling to feel out of control. You want to have some sense of control. And it's interesting because you guys can talk about this, but from a self-love perspective, love and giving love, from a bubble's perspective, that kind of looks like control. Because think about it. If you're a bubble floating around, you want to identify with yourself, and you want to do the things that you love. You want to have some control. You don't want to just constantly be floating. You want some groundedness and some identification. And beliefs help to do that. Beliefs help you to anchor you where you're at. It helps you to move in a direction
where you don't feel that you're totally uprooted and just completely going to free fall. Like, because I know there's a lot of people who are just, this belief is bad, this religion's bad, this, you know, but think about what it's doing for people. It's giving them stability so that they can grow in a way that is not overwhelming for them. Can you imagine being totally unidentified with anything?
It's called psychiatric ward.
Like tomorrow, everything that you know, you don't have to go to school because there is no, you're not a student anymore, you're not anything anymore. You're just free.
You're liberated.
Yeah. So, from an ocean's perspective, what would self-love look like? Any ideas?
Just let it happen. Surrender.
Yeah. Like, ooh, I'm just going to say, this is just my perspective, and you guys share your perspectives. I wanted to do that analogy because if you think about it, there's a lot of things that are us, and a lot of things that we might say are part of us, but we don't really understand them to be part of us yet. Like you might say to me that that spider is me, but you know you have a connection to all living things, but you don't really experience yourself as that thing to that degree that you experience yourself as this thing. So it's interesting that when, from a self-love perspective, like when you're in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the universe, in the middle of consciousness, it really does look like I can love myself fully in the things that I identify with. But it doesn't look like having complete love and acceptance for all things. There's things that are natural for you, and there's things that are unnatural for you. Things that you can learn to expand as you expand your awareness. Like there's a quote that I wanted to share with you guys that let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, all negativity comes from ignorance. So basically, with awareness of something, when you experience the wholeness of that thing, it's not negative anymore. But we're not infinite. We're not the ocean's perspective. So there are things that are good and bad from our perspective. And having some sense of control in where you're guiding your rudder as you're going through this whole thing gives you a great, that's what self-love looks like for you, is finding what is natural for you, what you love, what makes you passionate, what you're inspired to do. It's not just doing anything. You know, does that make sense?
Who or what chooses that? What is right or what is wrong?
Okay, do you want to experience it right now? Who's choosing it? Do you guys want to experience it right now?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone close your eyes. All right? Now, go ahead and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Just become aware of the room, the space in this room, and the space in your body. And feel the ground underneath you and the air above you. Take one more deep breath in. And breathe out. I want you to focus on your stomach region where your diaphragm is. Feel any tension in this area. And as you breathe out, just relax. Feel as you just let go of any tension around the diaphragm area. Become completely aware of the space around this area. Now I want you to vision something that you love, someone that you really truly look up to. Something that you dream of and want to manifest. Something that really truly inspires you in a positive way. And I want you to become aware of anything that's happening in that area. breath in. And breathe out. So, keeping your eyes closed. If you acknowledge expansion in that area, just raise your hand. Okay. Everyone felt expansion. So now what I want you to do is I want you to envision someone that you love very dearly being horribly harmed and in tremendous pain. Completely helpless to the situation. And I want you, once again, to be aware of what's happening in that space. Is it expanding in this moment? Or did it just contract? If it contracted, just raise your hand. If you didn't feel anything, raise your hand. So, you guys can all open your eyes. Okay, so the title of the talk was Uniting Polarities. Okay? We experience, you might say we're in an ocean, everything's part of it, we're all water. What we don't experience is that. We experience that I'm a person and that's a door, and we're not the same thing. And there's things that essentially you come to know as a polarity as you go and find yourself more. Do these polarities exist external of you? No. You just notice that these imaginary situations cause an actual physical effect in your body. There's many ways that you can perceive your intuition. That's one of the many. There's many ways to perceive it. But what you just did is a test. Anytime, 100%, if there's something that's right and natural for you versus unnatural for you, that will tell you the answer. It is 100% accurate, and you have to learn to trust your intuition. And if it's something you have not done consistently, it takes practice. It really does. Because everyone around you tells you to follow them, that you have to do something, that you should do something. There's very few people who try to teach you to follow yourself. So that, who you are, is born. But you can learn who you're not, and by learning what's natural. And that's only from the perspective of a bubble. I can't talk to you about anything other than that, because I have no clue. But from a bubble's perspective, there's things that feel natural and things that don't feel natural. Like, do you guys know anything else that is really beneficial for you in terms of trusting your intuition that you found that you could share with us so that we could use?
Simply asking yourself the question, is doing this thing or that having this thought, this behavior, this emotion, helping you become the person you're truly meant to be? You will always know the answer. It'll pop right up in your head immediately. It's engaging in this, helping you become the person you're truly meant to be, you know, right away. And then if you'll end up telling the story to yourself, and that's your ego protecting what's not real, the illusion, right? So, inevitably, everyone knows what is real. That's just a perfect experiment that you just did, which I really like. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I think going with what Grant said, you can also add to that. You ask yourself the question, is this benefiting me, getting me where I want to be? And then on top of that, I would couple it with an intense belief in yourself and trust that you'll be able to figure it out, and you know already what you need to do. So for example, with me, one of the reasons why I don't get stressed out is because whenever something happens, I know I can handle it. And if I can't handle it right now, I'll figure out how to do it. So there's no reason to worry about it, you know?
Sure.
If you couple the two together, it's very powerful because you know, you have faith in yourself, you'll figure it out. So you ask the question, and the answer's going to come because you know it's going to come. So it happens.
Everything
happens. You're not,
Yeah.
not just describing the ego, allowing ourselves to use the ego to be absolutely conceived of. I think that's what Jesus described. That's what we have to do. That's what we have the ego for.
People say the ego is such a bad thing. People say we gotta get rid of our ego.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but as Jesus said, the state of fear. That's based on what they believe the ego is, because they see it, they fear it. They don't have control over it. So it's another thing. We're going to use that, which is our intellect, ourself, to be able to see beyond it or experience beyond it.
The beliefs, it's the same thing. It's like, are you your beliefs? Because if you are your beliefs, there's multiple aspects of everything. There's no no one can say like, this is how the whole universe is, this is how it works. Beliefs can be a wonderful thing. I might use my belief that, I have to study right now while I'm in medical school. I don't really have to study right now, but if I really believe it, I probably will. I'll feel stressed. I'll feel like I'll identify with being a medical student when I'm really not a medical student. I'm just a person. I'm not even that. That's just a belief that's serving me while I'm on this planet. It's like all these things, they're really helpful. But only when I consciously are aware of them and I get to choose them. And that's one thing, I don't know if we're going to have the time, but I just want, maybe you guys can share about, the question that Gage asked is the most beautiful question I think that can possibly be asked, which is, who are you? Who was experiencing the contraction and the expansion a moment ago? Who was doing that? Now, I'll tell you another question, because I don't have any answers, but I can give you another, confusing question. Is there's lots of polarities that exist. So that's something that is constantly just in flux, and it doesn't seem to be polar. But if you had someone that you hate, or something that you hate, and you closed your eyes and you visualize it, not only is it going to contract, that's a constant, but something else is going to happen at that same moment in time. It's going to be energetically in a point of your body specifically. So if you, just real quick as I'm talking, if you just become aware, think of anything that you absolutely hate, or anything that is just the most bothersome thing in the world to you right now, you can just close your eyes and just visualize connection between points of your body. And the things that would upset you is because those individual points are not communicating. This is something that I highly encourage each one of you to do on your own time. Explore the poles in your body, because the only way that you can come out of that bubble is if you can allow communication. There's another trick. You want to know really the trick to come out of the bubble? There's no real trick to get totally out, but you can expand that bubble more and more and more. And this is how to do it. That does it. Uncertainty.
Why?
Exactly. So, uncertainty. You're guided here by your beliefs. When you don't really think, when you turn off all your senses and you stop trusting the information that's coming in, and you really, this is something that takes an incredible amount. Everyone says, oh, I'm open with uncertainty. Okay, seriously, are you really open to uncertainty? Are you ready tomorrow to everything you know to just be up in the air? You might say you are, but no one is. No one is able to have complete flow with anything and everything. Because there's a lot of terrible things on this planet that you do not want to be subjected to. But as a composer, he might begin to learn in just the key of C. As he becomes more advanced, he can play in every key. So as our awareness comes to dispel ignorance and see things as more holistic, then our identity of self can expand so we can accept more uncertainty. But uncertainty is not the easy topic. If you think about uncertainty, most people think of it as fear, as worry. Well, I don't know what's going to happen on the test tomorrow. You know? Like, or in the past, it's like uncertainty could be all sorts of things. But the only thing that can give you complete potential is uncertainty for this moment right now. That's the only door that opens to limitless potential is uncertainty. It's, again, a tool. It's just like everything else. It just helps you to expand that bubble. It's not who or anything. It's just another tool. These are all little tricks, you know? You're tricking yourself to come outside of this little bubble that we tried so hard to stay inside this little bubble. But uncertainty is, oh man, that is, it's interesting. Because what is natural and what's unnatural, that's something that we're always learning through our intuition. Uncertainty just comes and smacks that right in the face. It takes everything that is you and destroys it. But that's how to get out of the bubble.
I like moksha, liberation.
Yeah. And it's a process. Like, can you imagine if one person tomorrow was like, I'm liberated, I know who I am. Okay, dude, so what are you going to do for the rest of the millenniums and millenniums of time? You know, like.
That's when you can choose to fully experience everything for what it is. I think that's what learning is.
Uncertainty. That's one thing that connects all of us. No one's outside of that. We're all bound. We all have so many commonalities. And uncertainty is one of them. No one knows. No one really knows. We can celebrate that.
That's what we know. Is that we don't know.
Yeah.
That's
What? Do we really? Because we could know. It's
we all
possible.
do know.
We do know.
We all do know.
we don't know, we do know. And it's interesting. It's interesting. There's a lot of things that we're all part of. Like we're all bubbles. We're all in the ocean. Nobody knows. Nobody at least can articulate from the ocean's perspective to a bubble's perspective. How could you take something infinite and teach it to something finite? How could you take something infinite and make it finite? Like, of this room, we could truly like just create anything we want. And that's crazy. I don't want that thing. I want right now. I want this room.
That goes with the idea of focusing on, you have two options. You can focus on the end result, or you can focus on the process to get there. And let's say your goal is something as simple as losing weight. Well, you can focus on that end result that you want, but that's just going to make you miserable because if you don't have that now. But you focus on the process and you just win the day. You focus on just do it today, do it today. But you're focusing on the journey in a sense. That's why it's saying life's a journey. Not this life's about the journey, not the destination. Is you're supposed to just experience it. You're supposed to be in it and not worry about what's happening next. Just let it come. Kind of being in the flow kind of thing. And you focus on just the now.
Would you guys, how do you think anyone have any suggestions for how we wrap it up? Because I really feel like this is very special what we have in this moment. like just the intentions, we all can handle it. If there's anything that you want to ask the group, maybe like the group can help. Does anyone want to help on something? If anyone had a vision that they wanted support on, if anyone truly had something to say that was really meaningful for them, that would be a great time if you want to say it. There's a lot of power in this room.
I would just say that when you leave here today, for example, I may never see you again. So when you leave here today, never forget that no matter what happens, you have complete control over how you react to it. You don't have control over what happens to you for the most part, but you can control how you react to it, and really know that you can handle anything that comes your way. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed, because when you focus on being overwhelmed, you focus on negativity, you're going to feel that. Focus on what you can handle, focus on what you can change. If you can't do anything about it, let it go. Don't worry about things, it's never worth it. There's a great quote by the Dalai Lama. He says, if you can change it, then there's no reason to worry about it. And if you can't change it, then worry is of no use. So there's never a reason to worry about something. Trust yourself, trust your gut, and go through life, chase your passions, chase your dreams.